And up at the top right-hand side of the map, the red Protoss player, representing, of course, Alpha X Esports, it is Asuna.
Can you play that one on your guitar, Fear Dragon?
Yeah, but I don't feel like it right now. So I agree with your assessment, by the way, of what I expect is that Asuna is going to try and do something a little bit cheekier, or will try and set the pace of this a bit. Because I actually think one of the hardest things that can come about is that you just let Nina play her gameplay or her style. Because I actually think like that's where she just gets into her hyper comfort zone, more so than a lot of other players. Because she gets the ball rolling, she is able to just use those hyper microable units to take small, tiny advantages here and there. Nina and Blink Stalkers, I think that Nina has the best Blink Stalker micro, definitely of North America, possibly of like bigger other regions as well. Like I actually think that Nina's Blink Stalker micro is super on point when she has the opportunity to show it off.
Yeah, I don't get to watch as much Nina as I would like to, right? But every time I see her, well, I mean, I should.
It's actually at a terrible hour for you.
But, well, thanks for taking the words right out of my mouth, because that's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, no, it's kind of tough, but like she plays in like a lot of these weekly events, and when I do like tune in to catch something like that, I wouldn't, watch all of the time and see her in the finals and so on. She is just like so dominant in like the basic stages of the game, right? Like she can get ahead, she can keep leads, and that's what has me terrified for Asuna, because I feel like Nina just plays a little bit safe here, and I know that's easy to say, but like, 2 gates target before an expansion or anything along those lines. Like right now, to me, this is just like, wow, Nina's just going to be very safe, very confident if she gets into a good position, and then is happy to just play out from there as Asuna proxying up the Twilight, and to me, Fear Dragon, that yells a Dark Templar.
Yeah, especially the positioning of that, right? Like that's definitely what it's feeling like right now. Ooh, we're going to actually see the WTs probably elevated, I would imagine, unless this is going to turn into something that's very, very strange, but yeah, I'm with you. It really does feel like a Dark Shrine with like a Warp Prism coming on out immediately afterwards to go for like a DT drop over here. Oh, Nina!
No.
Wow, that is actually a bit unfortunate for Nina with how close she got to scouting that.
Yikes, that is not good. That's a real shame, especially when you're scouting for it with 2 probes, because there's one on the top side of the map as well. So you're really missing out on what you're investing a lot into finding. So that's that's really bad.
He gets canceled. Like,
oh, just 2 stalkers. Fun, but
well,
okay,
that's
I mean, that was not the right time to cancel it, though, right? Like, like Asuna could have waited for the probe to get back in position to rebuild instantly, but okay, that was a little weird. It's gonna obviously lose 4 workers here, at least probably 5 after you get 1 more if you chase for it. Yeah,
wow,
quite nice. Obviously, Dev took a lot of damage initially, but yeah, that's a good, good little bit of damage from Nina. So let's see what happens here. It's gonna be Dark Shrine. There's also an Immortal on the way.
What? It's an Immortal, not a Warp Prism.
So DTs into, but DTs with the Dark Shrine in the main. So Nina saw the Dark Shrine.
Yeah. The devs got there. That's actually a really good point. We didn't even address that.
Yeah.
So the Robo immediately comes up, but what's even weirder to me, Wardy, is just that the Immortals from Asuna are gonna be spawning in the bottom right. Like this is gonna be such a long, awkward walk across the map for every one of those Immortals.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then there's gonna be charge. This is, when we talk about weird and wonderful, this is exactly what we mean, because how do you prepare for a build that doesn't exist until just now?
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to North America, Wardy. No, but I actually really like the idea. I don't know whether or not this is gonna work, but even if it doesn't work, Wardy, I'm gonna say I'm on board with this opening for Asuna. Just because even if it doesn't work, like this is the kind of stuff, this is the way that I actually see Nina losing more games, where it's like, oh, you're going for this kind of weird thing over here, and it just ambushes Nina. Nina just doesn't have a chance to actually react and like do hyper super micro plays and keep you at home and stuff. Like you bring the aggression to her and you catch her off guard. That's how Nina usually will lose games.
Well, let's see if it works out, but I mean, shield battery already up, super battery available. I mean, the charge is maybe the most interesting part of this, because I don't know if, I mean, there isn't really any preparation for charge. No, the stasis ward. This is such a weirdly placed stasis ward too, and I feel like if you come in from a more normal angle, it doesn't affect you so much, but from the top left, that really does hit. Oh, and the oracles come back. These zealots and the moles are trying to buy time for themselves. Oh no, what a disaster after there was so much potential. It feels like it's all falling apart already.
Yeah, and the Immortals actually getting focus fire down by the Oracles. Oh my god, Oracles killing Immortals. Not something you see every day. It's not quite over just yet because there's a big round of charge out of Warpins. But look at that beautiful play over there from Nina. Just go for the wall. Prevent these Zealots from getting a ton of damage. And I like that as soon as just try and knock down the left-hand side, open this up so maybe some Zealots can get in the middle. Oh, but look at that. Nina just re-walls off with pylons behind it. Maybe needs one more. She really wants to secure the full wall again, but no. Suna's going to be able to sneak on in. Nina might need to cancel those pylons, but still, you're going to be fighting in the mineral line. This is actually still a ideal fight angle here for Nina.
Yeah, Nina just... Yeah, Nina could even just be a bit more aggressive. I mean, there's no reason to overcommit in. Those are good force fields, and the Zealots work on top, and that's the issue. Problem there was, though, you were targeting down the Archon for a long time, but then you don't actually finish it off. So you waste a lot of damage that doesn't mean anything, and then the Zealots get a really good fight. And this has kind of turned around a little bit. This Archon, if it gets some shots on those probes, if they're looking for the surround.
Oh my god, probes surrounding an Archon and they managed to kill it? Are you kidding me? The photon, the shield battery overcharge also came out very, very late on into that fight. I guess Nina is just feeling more confident about all this. And as our observer is showing us, Asuna is very much so all in off of all of this. And remember, even we're rallying in Immortals or something, if Asuna decided to go for that, they'd have to walk all the way across the map. There is an Immortal being made now for Asuna, but again, it's just not going to be here anytime soon.
Well, it's another nice force field, which is really, I mean, that's great and all, but I just don't see where the end game's going to come from. This Oracle's going to show up, the Phoenix is going to help out a little bit. That Archon!
Oh, the Oracle dies a split second too early, but the Archon will get finished off by the Adepts, and Adepts are actually a really nice choice because it has been so Zealot heavy. GG, Nina defends the cheese in game number 1.
Hey, can you imagine what happens though if that first attack doesn't get hit by the stasis ward? Like, I think that's just a win for Asuna because it was super close after that. So without the stasis ward, because you know, Asuna lost an Immortal off that, lost a whole bunch of units, slowed down the attack, gave obviously Nina way more time to prepare. Yeah, that was not how I expected it to really go. Nice stasis. It was such a weird stasis ward too, I gotta say. Like, it was on the top side, right? And actually, if Asuna just warped in the bottom side and came from that direction, I don't think that stasis ward hits anything more than like a Zealot or 2 maybe. But like, because he was warping in from the top and coming down, it actually hit like everything, and that was really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things that happened in that game. I'm also just wondering, like, I can't disagree with the results in the end, of course, because Nina clearly made the right results to win the game. But I really thought that the follow-up unit that was after the first Immortal from Nina was going to be a Warp Prism, just because, like, you think about that army, you have a bunch of Stalkers that aren't going to have Blink or anything. That's the situation where you're on the defensive, you have a wall, you're dealing with charge lots. I would think, like, pick up micro would be really, really powerful there, especially like someone such as Nina, who's just thrives with that kind of micro situations. I really actually thought that was going to be the follow-up, but still ends up making it work, even though it got very, very close there. I think that's tough though, because I really feel like those kinds of builds are what Asuna needs. And the first one doesn't work out. How many builds like that can you really have?
3, because you're going to play 3 maps. Yeah, 100%. There's no way Asuna... There's no way Asuna shows up without 3 very interesting builds yet. I don't believe it. Like, if that's how he plays, and if that's how he plays, there's no way he's coming in with only like 1 prepared and going into standard game 2. I'm not a believer.
Okay,
he can't possibly go in and be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna win 2-0, right?
I will say Eternal Empire is a hard map to do like cannon rush and stuff on, but Everdream, which is map 3, if it gets there, I actually would say that's a great map to try and cannon rush or something out on. That's a really, really fantastic map for something like that. So maybe if Asuna can bust something out over here and take some of that momentum back. Well, we're going to be starting up here in the top right-hand corner of the map. There is a rule in DreamHack saying you do not need to be a human in order to play. We have the cat in that portrait. It is the blue Protoss player, Nina.
What's the exact wording on that rule for your dragon?
I'll look that up as you do this intro.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's in the bottom left-hand side. Don't know how much time I've got to buy for Fear Dragon. So I'll go really in-depth in the bottom left. In the red, representing Alpha X, has an X on the portrait, but not an Alpha XX. That looks like a 10 years of StarCraft X. Probably going to have some epic sounds as we have Asuna. Was that enough time?
Okay. Yeah, there was plenty of time. So the official tweet that actually happened back in May, funny enough, from Real Heyoka, who is, of course, wonderful guy behind the scenes who does so much, and especially for DreamHack these days, says, fun fact, at DreamHack, our tournament rule books don't say you need to be a human to compete, specifically to leave the door open for an Airbud type situation.
An Airbud?
Oh my God, does Europe not know about Airbud?
Oh, I'm so confused.
Movie? Okay, so there's this amazing movie series, which is actually really bad, but it's great. All right, it's this great movie series where basically they keep this dog keeps finding these sports where they're like, well, there's no rule saying a dog can't play football, and he just, or like, I think it starts with basketball actually, and he keeps doing like, you know, the dogs will jump up and like with a ball or something and tip it up and keep it in the air. So he would do that and basically score baskets. And that was the premise of the movie. All right. It would be like, let's follow Airbud's journey through basketball. Now the sequel, soccer. Somehow he plays baseball. Like, it's just, that was the Airbud series.
But does that mean Alpha X, not Alpha X, sorry, Alpha Star can play in DreamHack? Is there a rule against AIs?
So that's the thing that everyone says in response. But here's my counterpoint: is that Alpha Star does not know how to play in the more recent maps or the balance patch.
Well, if it was updated. Hey, to get back on track with at least this group, Rob is 1-0 up against Estrella. Just came up on the screen. That's kind of crazy.
You know, it's so funny too, because I feel like if you had asked me maybe like 3 months or maybe 2 months or older ago, like dating back to like 2 years ago, anywhere between 2 months to 2 years ago, you talk to me about Estrella, I'd be like, PvP sniper. His PvP, he is a PvP sniper. He's so good at it. I feel like he's gotten really good at a lot of the other matchups lately, especially PvP and stuff these days. And his PvP, it's still good, but I feel like there's a lot of little openings and gaps in those in the early game for him sometimes these days.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, love to know what happened in that series.
yeah, it'll be a cool one to go back and check the VOD of. Of course, if you're watching, you can go catch it live. You can multi-stream the other channels while watching us, because obviously don't leave the mainstream. We want you.
Yeah.
But
There's a squad stream actually available. If you hit the squad stream button,
There
even
you
on
go.
mobile, you can see all of the games being played at once.
StarCraft magic as Asuna takes off a probe to get into this one. Pretty similar setups, but in terms of expanding, but obviously very different in terms of the tech choice. Dark Shrine from Nina into the Blink. While on the other side of the map, Asuna is building Phoenix into a Robo. Well, that's nice. Some detection available for the DTs at least.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be very important, as we did end up seeing versus M. Canning and Neve. Now, with the Dark Shrine still going to be finishing up eventually, like it's not just like an auto shutdown. Oh man, there's an observer out, therefore Nina is just going to lose or something. Still turn them into Archons. You can still find a lot of value with those DTs, but it is going to be about how exactly Nina decides to follow this up, because Blink is also on the way for the Stalkers. And usually I feel like there's still just some semblance that you're going to try and get a bit aggressive, right? It's just tougher with Phoenix though.
Yeah. No, it's I feel like though if you get the Observer out and then there's Phoenix, it's just going to shut everything down, and Asuna should be in a great spot, and that's what I'm kind of excited for here. Is the Phoenix on the wrong side of the map against to help out like massively. And the Stalkers are forward, so the DTs have kind of run by. Those DTs are going to get in to do damage, right? That's this shouldn't be happening from Asuna. Like, he has a lot of tools to be able to stop DTs, but nothing actually in position, which is the saddest part, because now DTs get in, they're just going to kill a whole bunch of probes before anything else is done. The probes are going to attack the Nexus. They're like, I can't believe you haven't left units here to help us. They revolt for a few months. Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe our government would do this to us.
Oh.
Retake the capital. Yeah, that's 9 workers that really should not have gone down. That maybe should have been like 1 or 2 at most. And then the unit should have been in position, but going after the pylon there was tough. Then the Phoenix investment means that there's fewer gateway units and the Phoenix are on the wrong side of the map. That's actually really got to be frustrating there for Asuna.
Yeah, it's just like it's when you have all the tools you need, but not the information to put them in the right place, right? It's like, you know, it's like you've got a hammer, but you don't know the hammer's meant to hit the nail, right? You're trying to like put a screw in with the hammer, like it just doesn't work. So that's a terrible. I don't even know what the word is, but you know, we're moving on.
Yeah. Okay, well, big gateway flood comes on out there for Nina, which will follow up into a really large number of units being able to be warped in to be aggressive with most likely, since we still don't see a third base or anything coming on out. So I'm just to see where this game is going to go. The Phoenix are always a really threatening force in PvP because it's just so difficult unless you end up catching them. Hold on. There's two Elise stalkers in there.
Yeah, it's smart, right? It's just the extra couple of numbers just to really scare it away. And, you know, you don't know where those Phoenix are going to show up from. So now it gives you like a couple more, you know, more in quotation marks stalkers to like scare Phoenix off with. So I like that. Double Archon morphing on the bottom side as Zealots are going to warp in. So this is going to be a fight from Nina very soon. Is going to commit across the map sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the Archon's going to be extremely helpful also versus those Phoenix. Not just because the Phoenix can't lift them up, but oh my god! Oh yeah! Yeah! Wardy, that was not what should have happened there for either player.
So Asuna's going to kill a bunch of probes and recall home, right? There's no... You've got to have these Phoenix.
Do you even need to recall? Do you even need to recall? I think you just walk them back across the map.
You just walk them back? This fight's about to happen.
Oh no. Actually, the Phoenix just used all their energy, Wardy. There's maybe going to be 1 or 2 lift-ups available, but this actually gets really dicey now.
Maybe he wasn't expecting the charge lots on the Archons, right? Like, just the Stalkers to let, you know, maybe as soon as like, okay, well, I've got Immortals and stuff. You can't do anything with just Stalkers here, right? Now the Phoenix do recall, but you're right. Like, there's not that much energy, and the energy that is there, well, the Phoenix gets stuck above Archons and Stalkers. They're not having a good time, and that's a lot of Phoenix dead. Nina, kind of down on workers, but I still think has the better fighting arm. He just needs a big round of Zealots to warp in to really get in the front and to tank a lot of these Immortal shots. That's a dead Immortal there. Nice blink to catch her without losing too much.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with the Zealots, but the proxy pylon is actually pretty far back there. And not only that, but like a bunch of sentries just got warped in, which could work out. I mean, there's the Phoenix count is definitely heavily reduced here. I think it is just going to be about making sure those units don't get back into that choked up point there like they did the first time.
Yeah, I still like to see Zealots because I feel like a lot of Zealots could be great. I mean, I get it, right? You're blocking this Immortal from getting away and so on, but man, I feel like Zealots would just do so much right now. As one of the Archons has gone down from Nina, so that's a lot of her splash gone. Super Battery is saving this Void Ray for so long, and the Stalker count's just not there. And Nina's attack just is not working out. And Asuna is looking really good in a fairly honest, straight-up game.
Yeah, we already see that Nina's trying to start probe up behind this. It's 2 workers being made at a time right now, but still got some ways to catch up. And even if you catch up on all of the workers lost, you have lost all of your power units, right? All of the Archons ended up dying. You don't have any additional real big tech behind all this. It's just Blink Stalkers and Charge Slots, which is great, but you need the big supporting units behind it. Nina's got a tough game ahead of her.
Yep. It's definitely going to be like a bit of a long haul. Got to come back from this one, but not impossible, right? I mean, you've got the tools and the Blink Stalkers. You've got the faster charge, maybe. You know, you're taking the map control, so you get the faster third base right now. So there are positives to work with. Yes, your overall fighting arm isn't very good, but if you can buy enough time, that really does give you opportunity in this situation.
Oh, that's actually a really good point. And if Nina had high ground vision, I think the hallucinate. Oh my god, that's actually such a good play. Asuna with the 1 Phoenix that was left alive kills off the hallucinating Phoenix that was moving across map. That was to provide high ground vision, so the Stalkers can blink into the main base. If you look at this army, yeah, there are 3 Void Rays there, but it's actually like the big firepower here is the Immortals. And the Immortals take a bit of time to get up to that main base. There's an opportunity for the Stalkers to get some damage done. But if you don't have high ground vision, Wardy, you can't do anything.
Yeah, well, you see Void's just going to keep pushing these Stalkers back. And Charge is going to be done from Asuna. That's going to help so much. Finally having actual, like, useful Zealots in this defense. That can actually work way better. A couple Stalkers going down. I mean, Asuna's played this well, you know, just slowly making the way out to the third base here. And now Asuna, I think, can realistically... Well, I kind of have a choice, actually, in a way. Maybe Asuna can just go across the map, right? Like, his army is terrifyingly strong. Stalkers can counterattack, but they're going to have to come home at some stage. They do not win the base trade.
I actually wonder about that now, Wardy. Like, can they win the base trade?
Nah,
Like,
I mean,
with
they just don't do
all
damage
of the
fast
stock,
enough.
all of the reinforcements over here for Nina. Nina didn't warp in back at home. Nina warped in aggressively.
Against Immortals and Void Rays? Like, I think
you just don't fight them. You just don't fight them.
I'm just saying, like, Immortals and Void Rays are going to kill stuff faster than Stalkers.
I don't know if I'm saying
actual buildings.
But I think the idea here is that the probes over the third base there for Nina, they just go and start building stuff around the map. And Asuna's going to have to hold his ground with a very immobile fourth, right? Like, the fourth is only strong together. The Blink Stalkers are strong, like, in a lot of places.
Yeah, well, those Stalkers, a few of them just recall back to the third to catch the probes of Asuna. The thing is, Asuna also has probes of his own on the map, so as long as he protects these, I don't think it's so bad. Asuna should have put a few units on the third base initially, I think, because there was no reason to kind of let the third base keep on mine and just lose complete track of the probes. I feel like that's just a minor mistake here. It was a little bit too eager to just dive straight into the natural and main. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, right? And it's obviously it makes sense. Like, the Stalkers are way better in theory in a base trade. I just thought straight up in terms of how fast you kill stuff, these Immortals and Voids would do a little better. But honestly, after looking at this a little bit, I think I'm wrong. So,
ooh, a lot of cancels coming out over there from Nina. So gonna get back a lot of those resources, up to 1,000 some minerals. Killed most of the probes over at the natural. Just one or two, no, just one that's gonna escape out of there alongside the probes that are already on the other side of the map. One DT hidden inside of the main base of Nina. And there's still 2 observers out, all right? There's still 2 observers out right now for Asuna. If that is all the detection, I just want to know, the DTs in a base trade, you can keep them alive and still find value, even when there's detection.
Yeah, that's true. The DTs are a really nice touch to have in a base trade scenario, but at the end of the day, we trade bases and we kind of reset, right? Both players are going to be on, you know, the other side of the map, taking their opponent's third. This DT already here, just actually cleaning up Zealots. So yeah, really nice little touch. DT does a lot. And even just a few Zealots going down. That's less Asuna has to fight with, as we see some Stalkers still active on the top, going to shut down a pylon. So
oh, they're going to get surrounded though.
Yeah, that is expensive, right? But you got Blink away to the top left. The top left is a dangerous place to be because you can get cut off, right? Like, your opponent can cut the corner of the Stalk with the Void Rays. Ooh, nice little Phoenix play. Loses the Phoenix, but...
obviously, losing the Stalkers is not good for Nina. But I actually think killing the Phoenix is really, really valuable there, right? Because the Phoenix is probably one of the best scouting tools there for Asuna. Asuna cannot afford to lose the observers going around scouting, right? It's not like there's sentries, hallucinated Phoenix scout or anything. The Phoenix actually was the best scouting tool that I feel like Asuna had with a very immobile army.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. This one DT, though, is going to die, so there goes one of the threats. There is one more DT on the map. Yes, they should have researched Shadow Stride in the 10-minute game for you, Dragon.
Look, I'm just saying, I would have, but, you know.
Look, I'm just saying this is DreamHack, not like I'm in League Ladder Heroes. Like,
I know. Okay. Well, oh boy, as soon as actually positioned to defend that gateway again, tries to repower it, and may not seem like a big deal, but I'm just gonna count the buildings here for Asuna, okay? 5 pylons, a nexus, and a gateway. That gateway is the last gateway. You can't even make another cyber core right now.
Asuna got an observer already, so it's now 2 for 2 observers. Because this observer war could still be important with the DT alive. Yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of buildings, but...
No, I just mean there's no production. There's literally no production right now for Asuna. It's on Nexus and pylons.
Yeah, I guess so. He has done a pretty good job of having some gates still alive, but those gates aren't powered, right? They're in the main. There's one on the bottom side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, even just having a gateway means, okay, I can build a cyber core. I can do things.
Yeah, but... so can Asuna, given a bit of time, and Asuna is mining as well on a base that shouldn't ever really die, and Nina's losing Stalkers for trying to fight this.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Nina really needs to be able to find fights where she can trade out the shields for actual damage on any of these units, but it is tough, right? Like, 5 Immortals, 3 Void Rays, they do damage pretty freaking quickly.
Yeah.
I actually would not hate if Nina thought about knocking down the rocks here, just because I feel like she's going to be the one moving back and forth in this choke point over here, she's probably going to be the one that actually would want that a little bit more open.
I like that Asuna's really focused and prioritized getting a cannon, because realizing if that one observer goes down and there are more DTs, that's a problem. So the cannon's a really nice addition.
Yeah. It's worth noting it is now, yeah, like I think you mentioned this before, 1 base versus 2. And Nina has more probes as well now. Because, again, when you have 2 bases, you can also make 2 workers at a time. So eventually, Nina will start having better production. What would you want to see unit-wise coming out from Nina then to follow this up? Because Nina's going to get to actual producing units a lot faster.
I don't know. Like,
oh, that was the last observer of Nina.
Yeah, I'm thinking, do more Stalkers win this or do Zealots? But then there are Archons. Like, I don't think there's nothing good that just comes off gateways, right? So I kind of like the idea of going for Robo. Maybe just go Robo Bane Disruptors. I actually think you need something to threaten this army back, and then it really kind of complements the Blink Stalkers that are already on the field. But the thing is, more Stalkers just aren't really the answer unless you get like 2 times as many Stalkers all at once. But by then, Asuna has more units as well, right? So I kind of like maybe just going Disruptors here. I don't even know if just Immortals to add on as well could maybe help. Like, it could, like, because Disruptors feels like a big deal, but you are buying a lot of time with those Stalkers, so maybe you get away with it. I guess we'll see what Nina's plan is in a moment or two. In the next little while. Sorry, I'm getting confused. That Robo's coming up from Asuna. It's because they've obviously swapped sides of the map, and like I'm looking at the production tab.
I literally just flipped. I flipped the nameplate. Actually,
I've just done the exact same thing as well, because I just can't do it top versus bottom, because
production. Can we flip the nameplates again? Because like guys, for context, usually great. Of course, we have a great observer here and everything. Usually, you try and keep the nameplate of the player like on the side that they spawn, but because they flip places, I feel like it's useful to just flip the nameplate.
Yeah, I would 100% do the same thing, because it's because you just like glance at the production tab and you're like, in your head it's just like top and bottom, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So yeah, so I never mind the whole disruptor idea. That's obviously not on the table here.
This is a big moment, right? Like, is Asuna actually moving out right now? I think this is too early.
That's Scene moving out too.
Oh my God!
What's that blink?
Oh,
no, that's not it.
Nina must have assumed that was like only a portion of the army. I think Nina just didn't see it all.
I think Nina just caught a glimpse of it going up the ramp and was like, oh yeah, I can fight some of this. Now you've lost so many focus. That was the blink that makes sense.
Yeah.
The thing is, now Asuna has killed so much, he can actually just leave a few units at home and be like, cool, my base is under no pressure, and gives him even more confidence to move across the map, which is absolutely brilliant, because again, Asuna's army absolutely in a forced fight wins. And now Asuna's realizing there's no counterattacks, he's going to bring everything else across as well. And yeah, I like this quite a lot.
I actually think Nina has enough to deal with this, though. Oh, pulling the probes. Okay, I don't actually think you need to pull the probes. Like, I think you wait. You wait out the Void Ray overcharge over here, and then you just kill off these units.
Well, maybe because 3 Immortals are back at home, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I actually think that Nina can take that fight, and now it gets a little bit awkward. I think you need to wait a little bit here. You need to warp in like 1 or 2 more rounds of units, because Nina's still mining from that other base right now. Still has a bit of production.
I like the Zealots warping, because the Zealots are really going to help this a lot. And obviously, now Defender's advantage is a real thing, because Asuna has no way to warp in on this side of the map. The blink in, of course, remember, when you blink into this, Zealots are going to become very important, very viable. Nice deny on a pylon actually stops the warping as well, and that's extremely useful at this stage.
Right? No, there's one gateway in the main.
Yeah, there's a gateway on the bottom side as well. So there is a couple of gates around. But the thing is, Asuna's going to start hunting these bases down and going to start doing pretty okay against it. Now the Stalker's going to go across the map to stop production of Asuna. If Asuna realizes this, though, I think you can just... recall. I wonder if Asuna just danced around too long. Obviously, yeah, you can recall, but then you kind of reset into the same position you were in. And I think Asuna kind of needed to get a Nexus or 2 before recalling home. So now I'm just worried that the recall hasn't come in too early, although these probes stuck on the map. Yeah, you have to recall, don't get me wrong. I like this though. Recall's half, and now you can maybe play the trapping game.
Okay, probes, like you said, getting chased down a bit, but that also means that Nina knows where this army is, sees that it is going to be a bit of a flank. Oh, that 1 DT. Where's the observer?
There is an observer, right?
There is. Okay, it was just trailing behind. I was like, oh no, if you lose your observer, you can't move out on the map.
I like the hallucination, really just a way to get across the map and get some vision, double check where everything is mining, how many probes there are. But it does feel like it's going pretty well now for Asuna.
Yeah.
Start to Twilight. Is Asuna thinking maybe that he can just get up to DTs himself? I wouldn't mind that idea. I just wonder if it takes too long to get to. Like, if he gone for that straight away, I like it. But then he obviously didn't know straight away that the observers were gone, perhaps, and, you know, how many observers there were, etc. And that, you know, Nina wasn't building a new... Yeah, I'm also on there, but they're next to a super battery.
Ah, DT died.
By the way, is that sentry just trapped on the Nexus? Poor guy.
Yes,
got recalled in.
It's really, really tricky because you kind of want another recall available, especially with the army composition of Asuna. But I was gonna say you could get it out of there with a recall or just a warp prism. Actually, I'm actually kind of surprised now that I think about it that Asuna doesn't actually get up a warp prism.
I think it's just too vulnerable against the Stalkers, right? They can just blink on it.
Yeah.
And he's gonna GG because half the army's across the map killing a base, and obviously the other half is here defending successfully. And Asuna gonna bring us to a 1-1 scoreline for your Dragon. We're gonna game 3 in our final series of the night.
That was a heck of a game, Wardy. We're gonna go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen, before game number 3 to close out the day. See you guys in a little bit.
Our last map of the night as this PvP goes the distance. Wardy and Fear Dragon here to bring you the commentary. As, yeah, really, I think what was really cool about this game for me is that Asuna really held his own in a game that was him not taking control, right? It was a much more standard game. It was very regular. And that was like everything we weren't talking about Asuna when we went into this. Okay, it wasn't.
There
it
are
was
a lot of
regular
things that would
early.
classify the game as Mario, but
it was
regular is not one of
early,
them.
and it turned into a base rate. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yes, in the end it turned out weird, but I think Asuna was winning when it was normal and regular and all of all of that. Nina made it weird. Nina was like, "Oh my god, I can't win a standard game. I'm just gonna have to like trade bases."
Okay. Yes, that I will agree with. I do think the biggest thing about like the early game attack from Nina that I feel like Asuna did really, really well is just the backing up into that little choke point where the stalkers are like, okay, we can't blink forward aggressively because there's too many immortals there. But we also still can't really get, like, we're getting choked up between the Nexus and the ramp and everything. I actually feel like if Nina had the sentries out earlier, I don't blame her because, like, that was the last thing on my mind. It wasn't until the sentries even came out that I was like, oh, this is a really good idea. But, like, if the sentries are out earlier to force out that army and, like, grab those units, I actually really think that Nina could have made that work. But, man, yeah. Asuna did a great job. Asuna did a great job of holding on there. We're moving into the game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to decide a lot here as we start in the top right-hand side of the map. Top of the red Protoss player. It is Asuna in Alpha X Sports.
And the bottom left from Exxon Esports, the blue Protoss, is Nina.
So Wardy, I did make a prediction about this that I am definitely going to be wrong about now. I thought Asuna would maybe cannon rush on Everdream just because it's a really nice map for it and everything. But after that last game, you know what? I'm actually much more sold. I'm with you. I'm much more sold on Asuna just not doing anything crazy weird. Like, still okay with him doing something a bit strange, and I like this. Even just doing a little fake out over here. I don't... Wait.
Oh
no.
God.
Oh
Get
no.
The gas steal. Oh my God. This is actually working even better than the cannon fake out earlier worked out. Wow.
Oh, even gonna let it finish. That's actually gonna convince Nina even longer that this is actually happening.
Oh, there's so many probes.
So
I mean, at this
bad.
point, the pylon's worth it anyway because there's so many probes off the line.
I need to mention, for those who don't know, like, why Nina is respecting the heck out of this and probably playing into the fact that you really do have to be wary about it. That gas geyser that just got stolen is in range of a cannon on the low ground. There is a cannon rush on this map you can do with that pylon placement, or even a pylon a little bit further up into the north or to the right. If you do that cannon placement, you can be in range of the gas geyser. In PvP, that is like a death sentence. To have your second gas geyser denied, everything gets delayed substantially. You can try and expand a little bit faster and make up for it, and it can work out, but you are just playing from way further behind. So Nina knew that was something you had to be wary about on Everdream. Immediately respects it, but God, that was such a great bait by Asuna.
Yeah, Asuna drops next a little bit later here, but obviously has a lot more gas, so the tech will be way faster. And that's why the Stargate's already dropping down, while Nina is still just one gas, decides to drop a second gateway as well. And yeah, the gas steal was the beautiful part about it, right? Because you cancel the gas to afford a cannon, forge and then potentially cannons, and Asuna's just there waiting for it. Comes in, takes the gas, and I love this position. Like, it's really good. I mean, this is kind of, like I said, it's what happened in M Cannon Neeb earlier. But and M Cannon's position was great, and he didn't even get the gas steal off. So
no,
yeah, it's even like better than that. Obviously, M Cannon ended up losing to a DT, which he scouted but didn't respond to. But yeah, by all rights, Asuna's in an amazing spot here early on in game 3. Gets the hype rolling. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, at least the Nexus will be finishing up, so maybe Nina can try and make up for the gas steal by getting a faster third or fourth gas geyser, but it is still going to just be like your early tech is going to be coming out later. To put this into context, Stargate's down and has already produced the first Phoenix out for Asuna. Nina's throwing down Robo now. Like, that's the context. The tech is coming out for Nina as the tech has already been produced for Asuna.
And Asuna's even so worried, he puts a shield battery down. I think he's like, well, what the heck are you doing? Like, this feels so late, So it is a really big advantage for Asuna. I wondered if actually Asuna would maybe go for like a Phoenix like gateway attack because he just have so much more, and especially seeing the robo time, be like, oh, you actually just have such a late robo, I could like lift any like single immortal that comes out of there or so. But obviously the shield battery suggests that Asuna's going to play a little bit more defensively here, just get those Phoenix up. and use those to harass a little bit.
Yeah, and again, that's like the beauty of Phoenix, right? Is that in PvP, they can just continuously dart in, find 1, 2, 3 worker kills, and just gradually take a bigger and bigger worker lead. But for now, you have to do some damage, right? Everything said and done, Nina's actually up 6 workers. Because, my God, Asuna is actually just two shield batteries now at the natural, with 2 pylons.
Yeah, it's super afraid, right? And Void Ray as well. I wonder if the Void Ray is going to be more of a like continued into Void Ray style. You know, going back on what. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's like a defensive Void Ray. So it feels like Asuna's just given away every lead that he had to. I mean, look at the work account. Like Nina's just super far ahead. I think Asuna's been way too safe when nothing's been coming. And so Nina's just right back in this game and just almost couldn't believe how far ahead he was.
Wardy, I'm actually going to take it even further. I don't think that Asuna gave up the lead. I think Asuna has given Nina a lead.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Like, I think it's, I think it's beyond just like this is now an even. I actually give favoritism to Nina in this situation.
No, it is. It is. Like, Nina's up like 10 workers. There's no two ways about it.
So unfortunate. Asuna is just so surprised. Like, this is the second time today that I'm like, you played so well that you played yourself, right? Like that happened again with Euthermal versus Aquaron, where Aquaron is like, there's an SCV coming from that direction. There's a proxy starport, like, I'll go there. And his game sense being good caused him to lose the game. And I feel like now Asuna's like, I did too much damage. Wait, no, I did too much damage. I was too good with my control. Now you have to attack me. And then the attack just doesn't come. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Especially when he had so much information in the main. I think that almost hurt him, you know, more than like if the Adept didn't get in. I think Asuna would have maybe just stuck on 1 shield battery and so on. Now, okay, let's just reassess this a little bit because as the work accounts even out, it's not super bad. We do see a proxy gate from Asuna, so Asuna will get aggressive of a very high tech count versus basically no tech, right? You know, from Nina, there's just Stalkers and Blink not even done. If Asuna hits just before Blink is done, which is totally possible, this attack could be deadly. If you lift up a whole bunch with the Phoenix, the Void, and the Immortals pop off, I definitely see the potential there. You know, Nina's investing into a 3rd that shouldn't come into use in that case.
I would agree with you if there was like charge or like already had a bunch of adepts or something out. I just don't know that even with all the Phoenix out, that you can actually just lift up all of the stalkers of Nina and actually protect the Immortals. I actually, like, that's my biggest fear here is even with all the Phoenix here, is that Nina just has enough stalkers that she can actually just blink on top of like 1 or 2 of the Immortals and just snipe them off, even with the Phoenix lift ups.
Nina's gone up to 7 gates as well. Like, didn't realize the gateway difference was so high. I'm kind of with you. Like, I feel like if this attack was hitting as I was talking about it already, then maybe. Let's see, because obviously Asuna's going to try and make something happen. Yeah, I mean, he has to do something. He is getting a forge behind it, but he knows that right now something must be done. Pops the Guardian Shield preemptively, finds a Stalker. I don't know where that came from, but here he goes. Stalker's going to blink in. I mean, in theory, this is the best case scenario for Asuna because blinking in Stalkers means they can't blink back. Extra Immortals going up. The Void Ray did okay. It's just not enough, is it? Maybe I really don't know. The Phoenix have just so many limbs for your dragon that as soon as they'll just keep on lifting, and the Phoenix are just lifting up Stalkers 1 by 1. So they're actually adding a lot of damage into this fight.
They're just taking him out of the fight. And as soon as out of stalkers, oh my God, it was so close over here.
Showed up. I mean, the thing is, these Phoenix are going to run out of energy in a moment.
Yeah, and there's slightly, it's not much, but slightly faster weapons over here for Nina. Although these Phoenix are getting a bit more energy over here. And now, there's Blink over here for these stalkers, but Nina's actually going to end up losing them. Oh my God, Wardy, I actually think, you know what the biggest play was? Is that the Phoenix lifted up those stalkers and it obscured the vision of where the Immortals were. I actually think Nina could not target fire down the Immortals because the Phoenix lifted the stalkers up and blocked the Immortals.
Yeah, I actually had no idea what was going on either. Like, I didn't want to make any calls during the fight. All I did know is that the Void Ray got killed. Like, I think the Void Ray got killed because you're right. She couldn't target anything else. Yeah, it got really close towards the end, but you look at what Asuna comes out with now, and it is quite a serious army supply lead, but not really an army that's good at following up for another fight, right? You know, the Immortals are dead, just now starting charge. So I don't mind that Asuna says, right, I'm just going to take my own 3rd base and take an advantage from this. Still has a lot of Phoenix, right? And that means you can do a lot of harassment still. and still keep Nina pinned back, even though it is a lot of Stalkers.
Yeah, no, I'm actually 100% with you. Even if obviously you want to keep the Phoenix alive over here. But I was going to say, like, the reason why I was saying, like, that was so committed from Asuna is just the positioning was really committed. The army composition, if you keep that army alive and you get to retreat back home with a lot of it, yeah, that army is actually just going to scale a lot better than Nina's. Nina is on pure Blink Stalker. Where's the robotics bay? Where's the, you know, the Stargate? Where's the charge upgrade? There's none of that from Nina. It's just +1 weapons, Stalkers, and Blink. That's the entire situation here for Nina. And Asuna's just gonna, again, like, scale so much better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the, like, Nina's just not making another step in terms of tech, right? It's just kind of like stagnant. Now has a +1 lead, but where's the +2? You know, those are the sort of questions we can ask at the moment. And it's because Nina's a little bit afraid to go too tech heavy in case there's another round of an attack coming up. She has to make priorities, and right now the priority is a third base and extra units to keep that third base alive. And obviously these Phoenix are still flying around, so you need to make sure you have a good Stalker count to shut the Phoenix down. Otherwise you will just lose a fight straight up no matter what.
You know, the one thing I will give Nina is that if there was a player, if you just asked me point blank, no context, no idea of what region we're talking about, everything, you're just like, all right, there's a player in this situation and they only have Blink Stalkers. Who do you think it would be, and who do you think could still make it work even though it shouldn't? And I tell you, Nina, like, this is neat. As much as M canning is all about the disruptors, I actually think of Nina with like Blink Stalker micro control. So we'll see if Nina can make magic happen, because magic has got to happen with these Stalkers, and being able to not only put some pressure on and at least keep Asuna a little bit in check, but also deal with the Phoenix harass, because there's a few Stalkers left back at home, but honestly, it's just not enough actually to stop these Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're losing Phoenix now, I feel like they've traded pretty well already. Wow, it's a big blink into this main base. Gonna kill the Robo. This Immortal pops out, gets 2 shot down. Obviously, these Stalkers can blink out of here as well. So this is nice. This is making use of what you have. You know, it's exactly what you're saying. If there's someone that can use Blink Stalk as well, perhaps that is Nina. As these Phoenix come back to try and maybe get a lift up. These Archons are separated, and it's a lot of damage being done. And I mean, this is where Asuna just needed a bit more map control early. Those Phoenix were about to lift a bunch of extra Stalkers than what they did. You just can't. Can you go down this ramp and chase? I mean, Asuna is. If Asuna gets across the map, Nina is not in a position to take a fight. Even with a Disruptor coming out, you're going to need more than one Disruptor shot. And that's why Nina runs back around the top side. It's just saying, I will not let you get across the map here.
Oh my gosh, she's going to blink back into the main. She's going to blink back into the main. The charge balls can't follow.
They cannot, but the charge ball's waiting, which is a little bit better, right? And there's a recall of only a few units too. I like the split because now Nina's pretty committed, and that's a lot of Stalkers already going down on the recall. These couple extra that didn't get recalled too. And now as Asuna, you've got the freedom to go across the map. All the Disruptors in time for your Dragon. There's already 1 on the map, 2 more in production. Has Nina bought enough time to make herself unkillable on 3 bases? I think she might have just about done it. The only issue is there's still Phoenix. There's 1 Phoenix. That's actually big, getting rid of the Phoenix for the Disruptors, obviously.
I'm also really, really worried about how many charge lots there are. Disruptors, in theory, are great versus charge lots until they close the distance on your army, and you're like, oh, wait, I have to kill my own units unless I'm incredibly careful to control. Nina is usually also really well... Oh, no! I was about to compliment how Nina's Disruptor control is really good, but that's not the start you want.
Yeah, the 1 Phoenix flying around is just going to take the attention away. Well, Nina just blinked up into the main, which means that it's free pickings on the 3rd base.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously not ideal, but hey, snagging an Immortal on the Ralliant, killing off a Zealot or 2. If you can take the fight, that is the beauty of PvP. You can sometimes lose economy, but if you win the fight wholeheartedly, you can still make it work.
The Disruptors did absolutely nothing there, though. Fear Dragon, they completely missed. These ones now maybe actually do connect a little bit better. Zealots from the other side, though. Zealots are just the issue because they're just so good against Stalkers. The Stalkers take so long to get rid of them, and there's still Immortals and Archons to back this up. Obviously, Asuna should be afraid of the Disruptors and will back away, knowing about the advantage he has, and knowing he has a response to Disruptors given time, that response being just more Phoenix.
Yeah, oh my god, if those Disruptors were off cooldown or ready to fire, that actually would have been a great shot to kill off a bunch of Zealots. There's no way that Asuna could have split on that ramp, but now this is a really, really tough question for Nina. How do you follow this up? You are just going to continue making Disruptors. That's absolutely a given. You have to make some kind of playback, comeback unit, but Now your opponent is going to be going up to a 4th base and you just lost your 3rd. You have to find a way to be aggressive against a player with 3 immortals and a ton of charge loss. That's not an easy ask.
All right, well, we're just going to be seeing our Stalkers back up around the top side.
Okay, they might actually get a... Oh, I don't think there's another observer at the north side. I don't think that... I don't think Nina can blink to the main base. I think the Stalkers just got scattered too by a Zealot.
Yeah, there's going to be another Zealot getting picked off. There's just so many Phoenix now, and that's what Asuna needs to have the confidence to take the next fight. And that's the big deal, right? That's why he backed away previously. These Phoenix, though, are next to all these Stalkers. That's obviously not ideal. You don't want to have your Disruptor counter reset again.
Yeah, 1 Phoenix snipe is not bad. That's going to bring it to roughly like 1-1 yet again. Stalkers might take a bit more damage over here. Snipes off another Phoenix on the retreat, but these Phoenix are going to go for those lift ups on those Stalkers. Remember, Nina was already down in army supply. Trading 1 for 1 is not enough. You need to actually just get free trades there as Nina. And Asuna looking so strong right now.
Yeah, Asuna is just going to run away with this game given time. You need mega disruptor hits at the moment, but the problem is mega disruptor hits don't happen if the disruptor shots don't land anywhere, and that's what's going to happen when the Phoenix lift them. Obviously, Asuna preparing with the Dark Shrine as well, making some good choices. I like where we are taking this. To me, definitely feels like a good idea, but that's Asuna not paying attention. Oh my god! Just
but what about the disruptors? Okay, there's another. Oh, that last disruptor shot was so important. If that last disruptor shot's not there, I actually think a bunch of the disruptors die.
Yeah, I agree. The Phoenix actually maybe could have continued to chase as well, but they obviously hotkeyed together, and so everything went to the right side all at once. So, but the Phoenix also missed their chance to kind of lift a disruptor or two. Maybe also was afraid of the Stalkers chasing. The thing is, you didn't have to take the fight right then. You can take the fight whenever you get position, right? And you can see the game that Nina's playing just going to run in circles. Whoa, the last second lift, right? That did not go off. Oh, needs to find more lifts. Oh, that disruptor does go off, but here is the surround of everything else showing up. There's an attempt to recall the disruptors away, but that means the rest of this army is abandoned. And there was a lot that went down, and 30 army supplies all that's left. GG's is called, and Asuna is going to take it. And we have an upset on the final day of groups, and